Going to talk about 5 awesome live albums from rock and roll artists you should check out. I'll have timestamps in the video to help navigate through it. I'm going to talk about what I think makes live albums cool, and then these 5 individually, what makes them special and why I chose them. So why live albums? I think live albums are cool for a few different reasons. So first off, they're kind of like a greatest hits in most cases. They're playing the bangers at live shows. They're not, playing album tracks unless they're fan favorites usually or something special about them. So there's just generally something to a live event that you're going to get a greatest hits kind of compilation, but in a different way. Also, you may be getting some kind of unique event that's being captured. Maybe they're having guest artists they don't normally have. Maybe they're playing in some unique way, doing like an album or something set, special that they don't normally do for like an anniversary or who knows. But there's something unique being captured at the live event. It's a one-time thing that unless you're there, you couldn't see, and now you kind of can be a part of it with capturing it this way. I think they're really cool going back to kind of the greatest hits for like a party, play it in the background, let it go. But they are good to listen to like through. There's not a lot of songs that are like singles. You can think of like Kiss Alive, all right, and like Rock and Roll All Night. I mean, Frampton Comes Alive. I'm not doing what I think are super obvious ones like those ones. These are ones that, they have something cool about them. They're special. They meet the criteria I said before. What I don't want is a tribute album where it's in memory of George Harrison. After George Harrison unfortunately passed, super cool live album where a bunch of amazing musicians played tribute. I'm not talking about that for this. What I'm talking about for this is this band's album with their name. It was released. It was meant to sell well. It wasn't like a weird bootleg. It wasn't a fan package Christmas party. This was put out like a studio album to be commercially successful. And some of these maybe are sleepers or some of these may be obvious. If there's ones that I'm missing, this isn't the top 5. These are just 5 that are cool. But, put comments below. Interested to hear what people think as well. So to start off with, we have Pink Floyd Pulse. This is from 1995. It was taken during the Division Bell tour as part of the European leg. So it's a live album, but there's also like a video. There was a VHS, but now there's DVDs and Blu-ray components as well. We're really just talking about the live album as just listening to it, but there is an awesome visual component to Pulse as well. So, I mean, this plays music from like all the eras of Pink Floyd. You have the early stuff from Syd Barrett, their first original kind of founding member who tragically, didn't have the best life. And Shine On You Crazy Diamond is the opening track. I like the version on the live version better than the studio version. That's a song that was written about Syd Barrett. So you have the earliest stuff. It's on the Division Bell tour. So you have like stuff from the newest record. They play Dark Side of the Moon in its entirety. They play a bunch of stuff from The Wall. It's just an awesome, awesome Pink Floyd experience. I don't think there's a better live. I mean, there's other live things and they do what they do well. But man, what a great overall Pink Floyd experience listening to this. A Little South of Sanity from Aerosmith, released in 1998. So this to me is like their best greatest hits live. They're not doing any like really crazy stuff with the songs with this. They're all pretty much played the way they're supposed to be. I mean, there's some live aspects to it, but they're not necessarily extended in a way. It goes through their earliest stuff to their most recent stuff. This is a mix of stuff from Get a Grip and 9 Lives. So you have up to the 9 Lives time, of Aerosmith. I remember listening to it where not every song, but most songs, he's calling out the cities of like, hey, whatever city I'm in. So that's kind of cool. It's an awesome party live experience. If you want to have a party and people like Aerosmith and they don't mind, I'm pretty sure there's some cussing here and there. But put on A Little South of Sanity and just let it play for a couple hours and you get all Aerosmith bangers. There's no real ballads. Like, I don't think the song from Armageddon is on this. Maybe it is, but I don't remember it. I don't like that song very much. And I love this. When I go to listen to Aerosmith, I listen to this A Little South of Sanity live album. And I mean, like a cover doesn't matter, but there's like the coolest cover on this live album too. S&M from Metallica from 1999. There was a second S&M that was made later. I'm only talking about the first S&M. So this was recorded in Berkeley, California. It was Metallica playing with the symphony, and Michael Kamen, who's done all kinds of different orchestral stuff, I think for movies and other things, did the arrangements of this. They actually made new songs just for this. There's 2 new songs that they had that were, made to be played with the orchestra. It takes all the different Metallica hits through the eras. They do a lot of stuff from Load and Reload. People hate Load and Reload. I love it. I think Load and Reload are awesome. I like the early Metallica stuff too, but you know, I learned about Metallica in the 90s. I learned about Metallica from Load pretty much, and I think they're great. I love that they do it with the orchestra. The songs are meant to, you know, have that, but then the super heavy songs sound amazing with the orchestra too. There's so many cadences and things they do. When I hear the album versions of songs like Master of Puppets, I'm automatically putting in all the things where James is doing like crowd work, where he's stopping and letting them sing. Every little part of Master, how they slow down, how the orchestra comes in, like all that, I hear it when I hear the regular version of the song, and I can't help it. When Stranger Things comes out, that really messes with me because like I hear the S&M version. I don't think this was a thing people were doing yet, playing with the symphony. This was in '99. There has been every band under the sun playing with the symphony and having a live symphony album. And again, Metallica did it a second time. I didn't like the second one as much. There's something about the first one that just captured something I think that was unique for the time, and it was great. Van Halen, Right Here, Right Now, live. This was from 1993. This was taken from some shows in Fresno, California, and it was part of the FUCK tour for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. It is an acronym though. And so the one thing I would say about this live album is, you know, how live is it truly is always been a debate. There is always been the question about wrestling. Now, Eddie Van Halen is amazing, okay? Michael Anthony is amazing, okay? Sammy Hagar, Alex Van Halen, they're amazing. So, I mean, like, my understanding is they had to re-record some of this stuff. It's in the 90s. It's probably alcohol getting spilt when they're doing their, like, Jack Daniel drink-offs, or if, like, Michael, like, tips his bass, because I think there's actual alcohol in there. It gives it the tone, I believe. So, like, who knows? Whatever, if he went back and recorded some stuff. You're getting Sammy Hagar singing some David Lee Roth songs. You know, when are you going to get that normally? You got a bass solo. You have a bass solo that's recorded as a bass solo and featured as a bass solo from Van Halen, and it's Michael Anthony doing it. So it's awesome. It kind of like a little South of Sanity from Aerosmith. I mean, it plays the hits. It plays stuff in a cool way. I think even though it's apparently a lot of it's re-recorded, I think it gives you the live experience of Van Halen, you know, on audio. So I think it's great. Check it out. Blink-182, the Mark, Tom, and Travis show, the Enema Strikes Back from the year 2000. So this was from the Enema of the State Tour. This is when they really got huge initially, and it's Blink-182, meaning that you get like half of a comedy album mixed with a live album. So at the end of these songs, they're making all these jokes. I think they're hilarious, kind of like the S&M from Metallica. Some of these songs, when I hear the regular version, I know like the cadence or like the crowd work, or where they're changing the lyrics to be vulgar, parts that rhyme with something. There's these extended parts where there's Satan comes in, and he's got this deep voice, and he's letting you know like things. They make fun of themselves about how they should be taking guitar lessons. You get with this live album a new song that was Man Overboard. I'm pretty sure it was a limited release in some fashion. I'm sure it's been released and redone since then, but at the time it wasn't like an easy thing to get. And yeah, it's awesome for all the reasons all the other you know, albums are awesome. But like I said, this has the comedy stuff, and it gives you that experience that you're not going to get you know, from a typical Blink-182. It's like if you put Blink-182 and an Adam Sandler record and an old CD player on shuffle, and it just kind of went between them, you know, is what you're getting with this album.